So let's just do a quick summary. I do think we've resolved a few things of like, quit embarrassing you with stories of foibles as you did as a child.
I might also just be an embarrassing person. That
And
might
it's
just
okay. It's okay.
my alarm. I have an alarm clock for when I break my fast, and it's the T-Rex roar from Jurassic Park.
Oh, it actually just sounded like you passed a lot of gas, and I thought that was
No. I just stopped it before it could go into it.
It's the T-Rex roar from Jurassic Park.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, like honey, don't ever change. You are such a dork, and I just love you so much for it.
Thank you. Hi, Mom. How are you?
Hey, honey. How are you? I miss you. I haven't seen you for so long. I'm dying. Is it normal for parents to literally feel like they're dying inside when they don't see their kids? That's my question for you.
Well, I think it's also that I'm your only kid. That doesn't help. And you're around a bunch of college kids all the time, so I'm up top of mind, even though I'm almost 30.
I know. I definitely have parent envy because, as you know, I've been doing March Madness for the last month, and every parent is there, and they're getting all this wonderful time with their kids, and I have parent envy. So, how are you? What's new? Tell me what's new.
What's new? Did some stand up again. Did a show. I'm gonna have a standing improv show. I was actually really what was it? I mean, it's not as impressive as your stuff. We'll get into your stuff. We'll get my crap out of the way first. But me and my roommate Casey, we were kind of like we wanted something to do. I was like, we need a creative outlet. So now we're going to do an improv show once a month, first Tuesday of every month. The Theater under St. Mark's, I think it's called.
Oh, that's exciting.
But yeah. I kind of she was like, oh, well, maybe we could do an improv show. And I was like, yes. And so we did the hardest form of improv, which she's never done, but I've done it a couple of times. And I was like, that's fine. I'll figure it out.
Okay. So, did you want to ask me about the NCAA tournament? Do you care?
Tell me. I do.
Okay. I wanted to ask you, so our ratings were insane. I don't know if you saw it, but women's March Madness outrated men's March Madness. Like, this is one of the most historical things ever. So 18.9 million people watched the women's NCAA championship game with South Carolina and Iowa. 14 something million watched the men's game with Purdue and Connecticut. And I just never thought I would see this day. I mean, I've been covering women's college basketball for 30 years, and I never thought I'd see this day. So what I wanted to ask you is, do you and your friends, like your generation of, 28, 29-year-olds, care about women's sports? That's my question for you. And why are more people watching now?
I mean, for the most part, yes. I think also people are watching more now. It's something we talked about where it was just like, if you just put more money into advertising and like cool stories that are going on and kind of make it more prevalent, it's a lot easier to know when the games are and what's going on and actually care. Like the whole Caitlin Clark thing, like amazing what she did. She's a great player. But like 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago, nobody would have been talking about, like, UConn went on that, like, how many years in a row did they win?
4 years in a row they won.
They won 4 years in a row, and like our friend Stewie's playing for them while they're doing some of that, and I'm just like, those are crazy stories too. They just didn't get as much push, and they weren't really shown to everybody. And so it's nice to see, like, oh, if you actually do what you do for any other sports, which is like driving the narrative, like constantly talking about it, it does drive viewers. It makes people more interested. So that's been nice because people have been like, oh, what does your mom think about Caitlin Clark? Which is the fact that people are naming, like, we have friends on the Liberty team in New York that, like, I've taken friends to go see, and they don't remember some of the players' names. No shade to any of the players, but like, I just have dumb friends. But like, people are talking about Caitlin Clark now, and Dawn Staley. So it's kind of
become a national phenomenon, I think. And I do think it's important, I know I've talked to you about this before, but my very first person I kind of fell in love with as a player was Dawn Staley. So
Yeah. Yeah.
When I got out of college, I went to New York City and did an internship at CBS Sports. And one of my first jobs was I would have to watch the games back and I would have to check off the advertising elements. So I would have to be able to say to our advertisers, this commercial got in, this spot got in, this graphic got in. And so I would do these advertising logs to prove that the advertising was in the game. And so I started watching Virginia basketball. And this is like 1991, 92 era, I think. And I was just like, I've never seen a woman play like this before. I've literally, like, she blew me away. And she had this really cool, like, short salt and pepper kind of haircut. So, I was a big salt and pepper fan, as you know. And I was just like, who is this little mini salt and pepper baller? Like, she's so great. And I loved her so much. So I think I've literally followed every step in Dawn Staley's career through the Olympics, Charlotte Sting, when she was coaching at Temple till now at South Carolina. So to be able to be there and be the one getting to like present the trophy to her, like sometimes it's all I can do not to get all choked up on the stage. Because it's just like this journey of my basketball loving life. And I get to be the one giving her the trophy. It's just really cool. And then she did one thing on the stand. I don't know if you saw the trophy presentation, but kind of we're done and I'm about ready to put this big bow on it and be like, congratulations to your 2024. And she's like, can I say one more thing? And I'm like, of course, you can do whatever you want. You're Dawn Staley. And she did this shout out to Caitlin Clark about thank you for growing the game. And she understands all of the pressure that Caitlin was probably under this season and how she handled that so gracefully. And I literally, like, if they zoom out, you could see my face like start to ugly cry, like, like, oh my gosh, don't look at me right now because I'm about to cry. It was just this really beautiful moment of women who are competing against each other, supporting each other in this really beautiful way. So that was cool.
Yeah.
So cool.
That's huge. That's huge.
So I love it that your friends are into it in New York City that are asking you these questions. That's special.
Hey, I think it does help that you're involved. So they're just like, hey, it's your mom. What's she doing? And then it starts with you. I'll say that. Yeah.
Do you ever get sick of people that want to talk to you about your mom? Like, is that ever a weird thing?
The only time I don't like it is like I'll have random people that I haven't talked to in months or even longer. They'll just send me a picture of your face at a bar.
I'm not physically at the bar. You mean I'm on television in the bar?
Like on the TV. Just a picture.
Right.
And it's like a small TV off in the corner. And it will be like, and they'll just, they won't say anything else. They'll just be like, that's your mom. And I'm just like, yeah. Like, it's nice that you're thinking of me, but it's just kind of, the presentation's always a little weird, or like, I'll be busy doing something. Somebody will call me and they'll just be like, hey, what's up? And I'm like, well, hey, what do you need? I'll be like, your mom's on the TV. And I'm like, well, yeah, I don't, that's.
Happens a lot. What's so funny is I've actually had the same situation with you because you were in a movie that came out about a year and a half ago called American Underdogs that became kind of like a big hit. It's the Kurt Warner story. And so I have been on airplanes where like every person on the plane in front of me, like in first class, you can see what monitors they're watching and your face will pop up. And I'm like, oh my gosh, those people are watching my kid. Or people will send me screenshots of when you come on in that movie. Like, oh my gosh, we saw McKylin. So it's kind of fun that I'm actually getting the same thing back as you as my son, which I'm very proud of.
The more the merrier. I want to do that more.
You want to do that more? Yeah. More movies.
More movies. Just anybody listening. If you have money or a casting, both are welcome.
That's your deal. Both are welcome.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's interesting. It's fun, but it's just weird. But it is like a cute moment when I'm hanging out with like new people or something. And I was like, oh, that's my mom. And I was just like, oh my, what? We didn't know that. Oh.
That's so cute. Yeah. Okay. So I did we told people last podcast, but just to remind people in case this is their first time listening, yes. When you were a kid, we got into this movie called Chaos Theory. And so we would do this all the time. Like anytime we had a free day, we still to this day will do it like, okay, here's the 3 things that I want to do, 3 things you want to do. We put them in a hat and we just pull it out. And that's our activity for the day. And that's our chaos theory. So I have my three topics in a hat. And I did choose the Indiana Fever hat because they have the first pick in the WNBA draft, which is April 15th. So I'm rocking with my Indiana Fever today.
Nice.
Okay, so I have my three topics in here.
And I just have my money bowl. I'll just use my change bowl so I can't get to a hat. I gotta work on my setup. My setup's terrible, but it's okay.
It'll get better as we go. Okay, tell me. I'm gonna pull mine out. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay.
Okay. Let's see what we got.
Oh, okay. This is an outstanding topic.
Oh boy. Okay, mine is all right.
So what is your generation? Are you a millennial, Gen Z, Gen Y?
I'm the
Gen
last.
2P?
The last year, Gen 2P. I'm the last of the millennials. I think after my year, it's the whatever's after millennial.
So I'm very fascinated on who's naming these generations, by the way. I don't understand Gen Z, Gen Y, millennial, all the things. I mean, millennials, the 2000s, right? Although
I think so, but I don't know.
I don't really know.
I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me.
I feel like millennials got a bad name and you've never been able to recover. So are you technically a millennial?
Yes. I feel like every generation gets a bad name, though.
I'm sorry, honey. Wish we could change that.
Hey, it's better than what is it now? The Zillennials? The Zoom.
Oh, is it Zillennials
or something?
Gen Z? I literally don't even know. Yeah, okay, so here's my topic for today.
Okay.
Why won't millennials, Gen Z, Gen Y, young people write anything down?
Because we don't need to. We've had this argument so many. I'm glad. You know what? This is good for the second episode. The first episode, it might have been too cute. I know we talked about somebody's butt a lot, but it was, let's have a real mother-son conversation.
This is something we have literally fought about your entire life because of why? Why?
I do. Look, I wrote two things down. I don't know if they don't make any sense to me, but one says
my biggest pet peeve is going into restaurants and there's a table of 6 people and we all have very distinct dietary issues and there's all these things and they won't write it down. Well, and invariably stuff comes back and something's wrong. And I'm like, why? What's so hard about just jotting it down?
Well, that one, it's about, you have to plug everything into a computer, right? So like they're just remembering the names of the orders. So you can go over and you have like a little display and then you have to plug it into this computer, right? So you're not like typing it in. You're literally clicking on it. Like you say you're lactose intolerant. You want a chicken parm, but with no cheese and extra sauce. You have to go over to like this little display, click on chicken parm, then go to like a little subgenre thing that will pop up and hit no cheese, and then go to another thing and type in extra sauce, right? And then,
but wouldn't it help you if that was written on a notepad?
So we gotta have you gotta have like 90 things that we gotta hold on to while I like when I served recently, when they have the actual thing,
like the iPad or the phone or the digital. Yes. Okay.
Yes.
But it brings me to a deeper thing. So when I was a kid, my dad made me have personal progress reports. I grew up as a member of the LDS church. We were very Mormon when I was growing up, and they did lots of like childhood goal setting. And it was literally called a personal progress meeting. And I would have to write down my goals and report back to my dad the next week about how I was doing. So when you were a kid, I would always try to make you write down your goals. And I firmly believe, and there's a ton of science behind this, that if you write something down, you're more likely to achieve it. And I have proof right here because I'm showing you in 2nd and 3rd grade, Caitlin Clark wrote down her future dreams.
Oh,
future dreams.
Oh, Caitlin. Oh, you know what? I'm sick of this Caitlin Clark girl.
McKylin, guess what the number one...
She's invading my personal life.
Guess what the number one thing she wrote down for her goal is?
Bother McKylin Rowe.
Play in the WNBA.
I support Caitlin wholeheartedly. This is just for
You're
fun,
just
but
being silly. I know.
come
Play in
on,
the
Caitlin.
WNBA. And you'd be shocked of all these goals she wrote down. She has accomplished almost all of them. So my question to you as a child and this fight that we keep having is why won't you write down your goals?
Okay, first off, I do write down my goals. I just write it in my phone because I like the planet and I'm trying to save not as many
Oh,
trees
don't
getting
even
knocked
try.
down.
You're trying to save paper. Don't even try to go there. That's not true.
But I have my goals. All right, these are my 2024 goals right here.
Share a couple with me. Share a couple with
There
me.
we go.
Oh, do you really?
And I hit them when I do some of them. What was I did a 36-hour fast last week.
36 hours?
Yes, it was a nightmare. I worked on a bunch of my writing stuff, so it's like specifics with my writing.
Okay.
Because I'm working on like 4 or 5 projects and stand up. I have a goal to do more stand up. Did that. Yeah, so just little stuff like that, and then I have another little goal sheet that's it's for the year.
Got it.
So I do write them down.
Okay, so technically your version of writing it down is putting it in your phone. And I think I will accept that. I will accept that. I personally think there's something with your brain of actually physically writing stuff out is neurologically better.
Yeah.
I don't have any proof for that.
I do have like a journal. Like my journal is where I do like the actual physical writing, and I try to do that. I would say once a week, but it's probably close to like 2 times a month. But and then I do write that, like my goals are in there and stuff like that. So I do write.
Okay.
I do write stuff down. You did kind of win this, but this makes me think of something, man. It's just a random tangent. I just want to talk about the idea that you hang out around college kids all day. They're like the best of the best.
Yes.
And then come back to your son and are just like, what are you doing?
And
it's an interesting little, I didn't notice it until we were, I think we were at dinner with like Stewie or somebody. And, she was like, oh, I'm 28. And I was like, you always seemed like you were much older than me, but we are months apart.
Like same age.
Yeah. And I'm like, you're a national champion. He was like, just fighting this huge battle for being like, for women's equality in sports, and then like MVP of the WNBA. And the other day I threw a little temper tantrum because I couldn't think of anything for my script. And then I watched a whole season of a TV show, and I was just sad.
So you're saying that I unfairly compare you to the best people in the world that I'm covering on a daily basis.
I didn't say unfairly. Those are your words. I just said it is something that does happen.
Okay, I will accept that, and I think you're right. But I'm also like, I remember one time when you were a little boy, and parents can go on and check your grades. Oh, yeah. Let's say you had like a B+ in something. And I was like, hey, what's happening in this class? What, she says you didn't turn in this, and that you can do extra credit if you miss something. And you're like, oh, I don't need to do extra credit. And I literally remember yelling at you and saying, we are an extra credit family. And the reason I remember this is I was at the Final Four, and Doris Burke and Rebecca Lobo were in the meeting room when I was yelling at you on the phone, and they were dying laughing, and they've never let me forget that I was like, we, the Rows, are an extra credit family. So I do think, basically, because my parents pushed me, and I definitely have pushed myself, and I definitely think it's okay to push your kids.
I'm not saying it's not okay. I'm just more pointing out the funny kind of thing that it is.
Yes. Yes. I'm around exceptional people all the time. I think that's an interesting observation by you. But I also think it's good and it's motivational of like, hey, if they can be the best in the world at something, why can't I be the best in the world at something?
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. I actually do take inspiration constantly from people that I cover. I mean, I've got stuff written down, things Nick Saban has said, things Pat Summitt has said, things Tara Vanderveer, who just retired. Love and happiness and peace to Tara. She's the best. Gino Oriema, athletes of how they manage anxiety. And I got some really good inspiration recently from the South Carolina players because they just had this really cool vibe of we have a goal and we don't care who is the person that stars to get that goal, like this really unselfish. And I was like, oh, that's how I need to be with my work colleagues of like, we want to be great. I just want us all to be great. I don't care if I do the story. I don't care if Ryan says it, Rebecca says it, Elle says it. I just want us to get this on the air so it's good. And I
Yeah.
think it's good to be unselfish. So I would say that's really cool observation by you because I really do take constant inspiration from my work and the people I'm covering. I'll
Yeah.
try not to compare you to them, but I do think it's a mother's job to constantly push their child. It, what do you, okay, just be honest. Should parents constantly try to push their children to be the best versions of themselves?
I think so. I think that's a good idea. I think it's interesting because people will be like, "Oh, my parents gave me anxiety," and it's like, well, maybe they were just trying to keep you from being a little like there's I can we swear? I don't even know if we talk about it.
We
But
haven't established those rules. Let's not say the F word, but anything else is on, not anything else. Let's
yeah,
keep it
let's
PG
play it by
13.
ear. Let's play it by
PG
ear.
13.
We'll see
Yeah.
how people feel. Um,
Wait till the episode where we have Doris Burke on and we go into how she taught you to say the F word. That's a whole nother episode.
oh yeah, well,
That
and
was a bad one.
I was saying it long before that. All right, so this one's dumb. I'm not proud.
This is your topic?
This is my topic.
Okay, hit me.
It's weirdest. What is your weirdest fear? I don't know
Oh
if
my
we've talked
gosh.
about this.
No, we've never talked about this, but I have a very specific fear. I have two that are super weird and still to this day I have. Um, I'm scared of revolving doors. So, like at the hotels, you go out because they don't want the wind blowing in and out of the lobby. So there's these revolving doors. Like if someone gets in the revolving door with me, I freak out because I think they're going to bump into me. Then we're going to crash into the door. Then we're going to get stuck. Like I hate revolving doors.
Yeah.
And then my other one is car washes. Like we've gone through the car wash together and I'm like in the front seat, like I'm freaking out. I'm freaking out. I'm freaking out. And I hate car washes.
Why? Is it just because they're loud and that's a lot of stuff going on, or you're just acting out the you're just acting out a car wash? Okay.
Wasn't it scary? Wasn't it frightening?
It might be confusing for anybody who's listening to this podcast. There's just a break in silence and the sound of clothes.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
Okay. What are yours? What are yours?
What do I got? I know one of them is sharks.
Oh my gosh. Are we going to get into the shark story?
Which one? There's got to be like 90.
There's a few of these. So I have taken you on vacation. So this is the first time it happened. I'm on your side on this one because you were 3 years old and I took you to Tahiti and we all went swimming with the sharks and you would not get in the water. And your famous quote was, you were like, it looks too evil. Like you were 3 years old and you were talking about how evil the shark looked. Do you remember that?
No, I don't remember that, but I feel like that's a valid place for fear to begin.
Yeah. So you were 3, but then this one really annoyed me because you were about 12 years old. And like early in your childhood, we were very poor. Like I was a poor, single, struggling mother. And I was like working 5 jobs, trying to support us and keep our lives going, very, very poor. And I remember saving up money and taking us on this really nice vacation to Los Angeles. We went to a Katy Perry concert.
Oh, this one is okay.
And I spent extra money so that we could stay at this hotel right on the beach. So we could be on the beach, go in the water, do all the water stuff. And it just so happened it was, you finished the rest of this story.
Well, because the story you're about to tell is not true. So I just didn't want to swim because it was just me and you sitting on the beach, and I was kind of just bored, and I didn't want to get in the water. Like that was it. It wasn't some big shark thing. I was just bored. I was like, I'd rather go do something. Like we're kind of just sitting here. You know what I mean? Like
You're
I was
misremembering this.
I'm not misremembering it. I'm
It was
remembering
Shark
why
Week.
you're
It was
remembering
Shark
this.
Week.
No, because then we got back to the hotel and I turned on Shark Week and you're like, that's why you can't get in the ocean. And I was like, no, I just didn't want to go stand in the ocean by myself and just like stare around. Like what there was nothing for me to, I was in like kind of douchey area where it's
12
just
years
like, well,
old. Yeah,
nobody's
you
gonna,
were kind of a jerk at this point. Yeah.
yeah,
12 to 14 was hard, man. That was
yeah,
some tough years.
yeah.
We'll get into that later.
Yeah.
The teenage years, because I do think there's parents out there listening that might need to understand you're probably not going to like your children from 12 to 14. It does get better. That's my inspiration for people out there. So there's a few tough years, but then it gets better, because I would say you're quite delightful now.
I'm definitely a better hang. I'm less whiny and annoying about random stuff. Well, like the beach, I wasn't afraid of sharks. I was just like a 12-year-old being a jack, being like, I don't want to just stand in the water by myself and do nothing.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
what's the
So
point
now
of
the
even
truth
doing
comes
that?
out.
I told
Now
you
the
this at
truth
the
comes
time,
out.
and I tell you this every time you bring this story up, but you have locked it away as you watch Shark Week and we're too scared to get in the water.
But you
Maybe
now
that's
have
it.
admitted that you're scared of sharks.
That's true. I am scared of sharks, but I'll get into it, the ocean. I swam with sharks like 2 years ago, but what was I gonna say? I think
So
this
we
is
did
it.
go back to Tahiti, and you did swim with the sharks this time,
Yes,
correct?
yes. In Bora Bora.
Full circle moment.
2020?
2019. It was right before.
2019.
It was before the COVID stuff.
Oh, the vid. But what was I gonna say? I think this is this. Okay, now I know what I was talking about with the hanging out with very inspirational people. Is you tell them my worst story. So we talked to Gino Ariema, one of the greatest women's basketball coaches, or just basketball coaches in general of all time. And you'll tell him a story about how I was a little tool that wouldn't get in the ocean because he was afraid of a shark.
So you don't like me sharing
circle.
you don't like me sharing your weak moments. That's fair. I think it's fair.
I think this is what will resonate with people as we have more of these conversations. Is moms do that?
It's interesting because we kind of think they're charming and funny stories, and you're viewing it as a.
Well, it's because it's you tell it so that you come off charming and funny, and I come off like afraid or annoying, and sometimes I am all of those things. But when you're with a 4-time or who was
11 national championships.
11.
Yes.
If you're with an 11-time national championship winning coach, having a nice little, hanging out for a little bit to hear a story about like, this guy is a loser. It's not great.
Okay, I think this is a very important therapeutic moment in our relationship, and I'm going to take this note. I can't promise I'll never embarrass you going forward, but I'm going to try to do better.
No, I don't think. I mean, honestly, it might be your job to embarrass me. I don't know. So. But
do I embarrass you that much?
With your stories. Overall, I'm just constantly proud of you, and like everybody's like, she's amazing, so that's good. But then, you get a chance to tell a story, and it's like, remember that one time you were a dick? Oh my God, yeah.
Do you want to do one more topic, or is that enough for today?
I don't know how you feeling. You do one more. My other two are terrible.
Are they terrible? Okay, I have two more.
P. Diddy, and the other one was your least favorite sport. These are trash.
Beast. Who the hell is Beast? I keep seeing things about this Beast guy on YouTube or
Mr.
videos. What is that?
I don't know. He's like, I think he's like a YouTube vlogger who's become super famous. And I think he like does like these crazy like challenges, and people can win a lot of money off of these crazy challenges. But then also I think he built a bunch of wells in Africa to help like get thirsty people water. There's
a lot there. Yeah. It's just funny because, like sometimes you'll be going through the magazine, through the airport, and the magazines are up, and like, I feel like I'm super current, and I'm kind of a young-minded person, and I'm constantly in touch with what's going on in the world. And then there's this magazine. It said the world's most famous person, or the world's most famous. I think it was like the most well-known person in the world, or something like that. Mr. Beast.
Up there. Yeah.
And I was like, how have I never heard of this dude?
Well, I mean, I have. It's the trickle down. This has been my biggest issue with with the algorithm, right? Everything's
Right.
on this algorithm now. And I feel like I don't know who people are a lot more, and like don't realize how popular they are. Like we all know Taylor Swift, right? But then like Olivia Rodrigo had a show the other night, and like everybody in the city was talking about it and like going to see Olivia Rodrigo, and I was like, I didn't even. She has one song, right? Isn't that Paramore? I
No,
don't know.
no, she's very good. Even I know she's very good. Driver's
But
license.
she's just not in my. She's not in my algorithm. You know what I mean?
But you create your own algorithm in real life. Like your brain is what your algorithm should be.
Yeah, but then your algorithm's like being made for you, and it's just like you like to see this, so you're going to see more of this. But then you don't get to. You're not like really stumbling into new things that often.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
I get it. Well, it's important to stay. I think it's important to learn new things and choose new things in life and make sure that you're not just stuck in your zone. Although I will
Yeah.
say this, I only like certain types of music, and people are like, "Oh, but you should like country." I I just never will. I never. Even Beyonce can't get me over to country music.
Oh,
Little Nas X, I did like the one song. I did like Old Town Road.
yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
The Beyonce country thing. Here's my biggest thing with Beyonce. I respect and all that stuff. I just her music never really. I never really just listened to it in my day. You know,
She wasn't someone you'd seek out and just put on play.
I'm not like, oh, I'm going for a walk. Let me just listen through an entire Beyonce album. You know,
Right. Who's your favorite artist right now? I don't even know.
ooh, right now, it's a great question.
Did
I
you do the Spotify like the best, that it tells you who your most listened to artist was of the year?
It's always like
Spotify
Drake.
Wrapped.
Last year was
Drake?
Drake, and I'm not proud of it. It's kind
Did I
of
tell you I went to the Drake concert 2 weeks ago?
no. Went to Drake. How was it? Did
It
you
was
meet
great.
Drake? Have you met
I did
Drake?
not meet him. I did not get to meet him, but
No.
he was great. But you know who else he performed with was J. Cole.
J. Cole's great.
I
Oh,
think
so
I might secretly be more of a J. Cole person. I love J. Cole.
J. Cole's amazing. Have you heard about all this discourse with J. Cole and Kendrick Lamar and Drake?
Well, they're all on concert together. So
No.
J. Cole and no, I know this for a fact. J. Cole and Drake were doing a concert. The show I went to in Oklahoma City was the final J. Cole part of the tour, and then Kendrick Lamar was joining the tour. So what
Was
is there
joining the
beef?
tour? Are you sure
Yeah,
that he was
but
joining the tour, or were they just talking about it? Because I'm pretty sure that they have a beef right now. I'm
well,
positive.
J. Cole was going off and Kendrick Lamar was joining Drake, I thought. I'll
No,
have to research it.
no. So Kendrick Lamar made a diss track. A diss track.
I know what that is, honey. Don't treat me
Yes.
like an infant. Yeah.
I'm not. No, I was trying to pronounce it right. I
Honey,
thought I
I
was
knew
saying
what a
disc.
diss track was
Disc.
before you were born. I knew what a diss track was
That's
when
not what
we
I was
were on
thinking.
cassette tapes. Don't even diss me like that.
I wasn't dissing you. I was trying to pronounce the word diss correctly.
Okay. I just was like, are you trying to assume right
Whoa.
now that I don't know what a diss track is?
I assume you know what a diss track is. You taught me about music, for the most part. But Kendrick released a diss track on J. Cole and Drake. And then J. Cole released another diss track back at Kendrick. But then he said he wants to get it off of his new album because he feels ashamed that he did it.
J.
And
Cole.
yeah.
I feel like that makes sense because I thought J. Cole he is deep and kind of, I don't know. I feel like he's kind of a deep, beautiful lyricist and the way he thinks. I'm very attracted to his music because of kind of his personality. I think he's phenomenal. So
That's kind of his
pro J. Cole here in the Rowe household.
We like who else do we? Yeah, J. Cole, Kendrick. I like both of them. Hopefully they can get through their stuff. Drake,
They can work it out.
I like Drake.
I like Drake too. I think he's very good. My number one artist of last year was Burna Boy. I've gotten really into the Afro beats.
Yeah.
So I have someone new for you, Tyler. Tyler,
You were
Tyla.
sending me Tyla music.
Yes, and she's phenomenal, and she just dropped her first album. So that's my gift to you today before we depart. And you're welcome.
And my gift to you is Jid, Jid.
JID.
JID. That's
Okay.
it. He has a great album. We listened to it at the Rose Bowl a little bit.
Oh, right. And I was like, who is this? I love it. And you, okay, I'm on it.
Try
I'll
him.
put it on
He's
the
really good.
playlist right now.
And then what do we were talking about doing, so we both love movies. Right? So I was thinking we should pick like a movie that you remember from back in the day that you really like, and I'll pick a movie that I really like now, and like kind of trade. We'll do like a little movie swap and see what we think of.
Okay. What do you have? I like it.
You like it? Okay. Right now, I had it written down on my phone. Hold on.
Oh, see, you did write something down.
It's my phone. I write things down. Oh, okay. I wanted you to watch Tenet.
Tenet, Tenet.
Yes.
I've seen it come up on the you whatever.
I think Tenet? It's on. I bought it, so it's on our Apple TV somewhere.
Okay.
But that's my movie rec for you today.
Okay, how far back can I go? Like, can I make you watch some of the old classics, like some of the old
whatever you want? No,
this was my favorite movie ever as a kid. All right, you're gonna have to watch.
Try to do ones I haven't seen already. I know you're gonna say Sound of Music.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
You've seen Sound of Music because I force you to watch that constantly. Yeah. I'm gonna say Singing in the Rain.
Singing in the Rain. Love Singing in the Rain. Okay, I'll watch that.
Have you seen it?
You showed it to me when I was like 10.
Okay, rewatch it now as an adult and get back to me on that.
I think I'll watch Tenet here actually.
I'm sure I've bought you several copies because I love it so much.
All right, so you get this is perfect. This is what I wanted. I wanted the completely different
genres and okay.
Yes.
So we'll get into some movie reviewing. All right. Well, I feel like we've been going long enough. People are probably like, okay, we've had enough of you two.
I forgot that we were even recording this.
I sort of like that too, because this is literally what our conversations are in real life.
Yeah. It should just be a fun. We just needed to have a schedule.
I do think we resolved. So let's just do a quick summary. I do think we've resolved a few things of like, quit embarrassing you with stories of foibles as you did as a child.
I might also just be an embarrassing person. That
and it's okay. It's okay.
I have an alarm clock for when I break my fast, and it's the T-Rex roar from Jurassic Park.
Oh, it actually just sounded like you passed a lot of gas, and I thought that was
no. I just stopped it before it could go into it.
It's the T-Rex roar from Jurassic Park.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, like honey, don't ever change. You are such a dork, and I just love you so much for it.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks for joining us on Call Your Mom. And please remember, call your parents this week because we're dying to hear from you constantly.
Yeah. All right.
Love you, honey.
Love you, Mom.
Bye.